to keep track of what's going on all around the world, including here in Santa Rosa. And so we get to be here to share today with you. I'm Conrad. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
As we work our way through the West Coast Leaf, we are keeping track of history, and of course, y'all know that this is the moment in history where we have a real great opportunity. My wife, Nikki Norris, here is also going to speak a little later. But together we run the newspaper, and we're called the Cannabis Newspaper of Record. And the record that we're getting to keep is the record of the most historic shift in cannabis policy in the past 100 years, which is set up to be on the ballot this November.
Yeah.
But before I launch into my talk about that, I wanted to also just mention that a new issue of the West Coast Leaf just came out, and on the cover we got a memorial, a remembrance of Jack Harrer. And I know a lot of people out here probably have met Jack during his tours. He was an icon here in California. He had a massive heart attack in last fall, and he passed away just this spring. But if you've read the book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and if you've been affected by the hemp movement, then you know what a loss this is for Jack Harrer to pass on. And so my only hope is that Jack is now in a field of hemp somewhere on the other side of the Elysian fields, smoking a nice fatty and watching us, the people of California, get ready to change history on November the 2nd. Now let's get down to the brass tacks of what that really means. What it means is that last year my wife and I went to the United Nations High Commission on Narcotic Drugs meeting in Vienna, Austria, where we were told for the first time that the United Nations recognized the fundamental human rights of the people who use cannabis and other drugs in the society has to be respected. And when we were there, you know what they told us? They said the world is waiting on the United States of America to change its laws. And the United States of America is waiting on California to change its laws. And California is waiting on the voters to change our laws. And the voters are waiting till November the 2nd to change our laws. And if enough California registered voters get out on November the 2nd, that means that the stroke of midnight of November the 2nd, you can have an ounce of marijuana on you if you're the over age of 21. Legally! You'll be able to grow a small garden of marijuana on your own for your own private use, legally! And you'll be able to give me an ounce of marijuana because you're such nice people, and it will be legal! And that has profound reverberations throughout all parts of society here. But if I were you, I would be thinking right now about working every day between now and Election Day, registering people, working with people, doing your own thing to get the word out and make sure that this thing passes, because you know damn well that there's going to be, excuse me, can I say that here? You know perfectly well that the forces of the drug war and the forces of the corporate society, which is poisoning the Gulf of Mexico right now, are going to spend billions of dollars to stop this. Because on November the 3rd of this year, communities will be able to allow farmers in their communities to grow hemp and to take on the pharmaceutical industry, to take on the timber industry, to take on the oil industry. They're afraid of that. And you know who else is afraid of us? The prison narcotics industry. And you know who else is, you know why they're afraid of it? Because they're not going to have those nice hard-working pot smokers doing slave labor in their prison camps anymore. Because you won't go to jail for pot. And your kids won't go to jail for pot. And future generations will be set up with a law that the voters passed that says that from now on they can only reduce penalties. They can no longer expect more intense penalties on cannabis. And that means more freedom year after year after year. Like the mighty hemp plant itself that starts so small. A tiny seed, a piece of a cutting, put it to the ground, and yet you can end up with pounds of medicine, tons of fiber. That's what this is about. This is a groundswell movement from the earth up that's come to rescue the planet, that's come to rescue democracy, that's come to take our brothers and sisters out of the prisons. That's what this is. That's what November the 2nd is. And so when I hear people say, you know, it doesn't go far enough, I ain't going to vote against it. You know what I say to those people? You're stopping history! You're standing in the doorway of freedom for the rest of the world! If you're afraid of freedom, that's your problem! Give it to the rest of us! Woo! And so we stand here today in Santa Rosa, California, counting the days, counting the minutes, counting the hours to our moment of freedom in November. And we have to do the work. I see a gentleman over here holding a sign at the SSDP booth. Register to vote here. You have to register to vote. Anyone you know who has a prison record, a felony record for marijuana, unless they're in prison, they have to be registered to vote in November. There's a big lie out there. They're going to tell you the felons, the ex-felons can't vote, and that's not true. That's what they're doing to us. They're trying to take away our vote. They're trying to take the lead of the Supreme Court and give our freedom to the corporations and let the corporations befoul the earth and kill the Gulf of Mexico. That's what's going on, and that's what we're trying to stop. That's what you have to do in November, and between now and November, you have to make it real.